Hey guys, welcome back. So what we are looking at today is lesson 4, money and debt. So more of things that we were looking at last time, still dealing with positives and negatives, adding them together and interpreting them in terms of a money context. So looking at the context to understand what is going on. Hopefully today's video won't get split into 2 parts. Still working on that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So we've got our money and debts. Concert tickets. Priya wants to buy 3 tickets for a concert. She has earned $135 and each ticket costs $50. She borrows the rest of the money she needs from a bank and buys the tickets. How can you represent the amount of money that Priya has after buying the tickets? So since Priya owns the bank because she had to borrow money to take and purchase these tickets, she owes money. So it's going to be represented by a negative number. And it's a negative number since she owes money to the bank. Now, how much money does she owe? If she had $135 and each ticket costs $50, so she's buying 3 tickets, so 50, 100, 150. So what's the difference between 150 and 135? 15. So that number would be a negative 15. All right, for number 2, how much more money will Priya need to earn to pay back the money she's borrowed from the bank? So Priya needs to earn how much more? Well, how much debt is she in? $15. So she needs to earn $15. Why do we know it's $15? What did we learn about yesterday that tells us that if we have a negative 15 here to get to break even or 0, what do we know we have to add by? The additive inverse. So 15, a positive 15, is the additive inverse for negative 15. So since negative 15 plus 15 equals 0. That's how we know that it's true and that it'll work out. All right, number 3, how much money will she have after she pays back the money she borrowed from the bank? Well, we essentially already did that right there, right? She will have $0. So because she's looking at the exact amount of money she has to earn in order to be able to pay back the bank, then because she's only earning 15, let's say, then that means that she's not going to have any money. Now, if she were to earn more than $15, then she'd have some left over after paying back the bank. But at this point, we don't know how much she might earn. So we're just looking at the exact amount she'd need to have the bank paid back. All right? So our next thing we're looking at is cafeteria food debt. So at the beginning of the month, Kieran had $24 in his school cafeteria account. We want to use a variable to represent the unknown quantity in each transaction below and write an equation to represent it. Then represent each transaction on a number line. What is the unknown quantity in each case? So for number 1, in the first week, he spent $16 on lunches. How much was in his account then? So we know he started out with the $24. Whoops, nope, this way. There we go. So we know he started out with the $24. We're adding what to it? How much did he spend? 16. So we're adding a negative 16 to that is going to equal some variable because right now we don't actually know how much it is. So I'm going to say n. So what is 24 plus negative 16? It's 8. Yes, so n equals 8. So he currently has $8 left in his account. All right, number 2. Then he deposited some more money and his account balance was $28. How much did he deposit? Well, we know he had $8 in his account. He deposited some amount of money, which I'm going to notate with X, and it equaled $28. So what plus 8 is going to give us 28? 20. So that means he deposited $20. All right, number 3, which I put up over here. I know, confusing, right? For number 3, then he spent $34 on lunches the next week. How much was in his account then? So we know he's got $28 right now. He just spent $34, and that's going to equal some new value, which I'm putting as y. So 28 plus negative 34 gives us what? It's going to give us a negative value, right? So we're going to have y equals something negative, but how much negative? 6. So he's got negative $6 in his account right now. Okay. For number 4, then he deposited enough money to pay off his debt to the cafeteria. How much did he deposit? So if he paid off only enough to take care of that negative $6 debt, how much then does he have to pay back to earn that? Well, our equation, negative 6 plus z equals 0. So just like before, our additive inverse, what do we have to add to negative 6 to get to 0? 6. So he would have deposited exactly $6. All right, and our last question here. Explain why it makes sense to use a negative number to represent Kieran's account balance when he owes money. So why does it make sense that it should be a negative value? Because, I'm going to pop over to this side over here. I know you can't see me really well, but okay, because he must pay back a positive amount of money to get to 0. So it makes sense to use the negative because it's lower than that break-even point 0. It's lower than not owing anything or having something. So we use the negative to represent that he owes it. That means that he's below even. He's below it being okay with the amount of money he has. So it's something he has to pay back a positive amount. He can't pay back a negative amount. That doesn't work. He'd be taking money from the cafeteria rather than giving them money for his debt. So we use the negative value to represent debt because it means this is how much you don't have, but you've spent. So you need to pay this back, pay back the positive amount of this. So that's really what it's looking at there. All right, our last portion of this, we are looking at a bank statement. So we have the wonderful bank of Responsible Bank in any town of somewhere. NH, I don't know. So we've got this bank statement. We've got different previous balances. We've got withdrawals and deposits, and then the current balance. So if we put withdrawals and deposits in the same column, how can they be represented? So rather than having 2 separate columns for withdrawals and deposits, what can we do instead to show that one's a withdrawal and one's a deposit? What do you think? What did we just talk about in terms of owing money, paying things. How do we represent that if we owe something or we've paid some amount, we've had something taken out? Negatives. So maybe use a negative number. Oh, you can't see all that. There. Use a negative number for withdrawals. So anytime we're withdrawing money, that's when we're taking money out of our account. Rather than if we're making a deposit, that's when we're adding money to our account. All right, number 2 up there. Andre withdraws $40 to buy a music player. What is his new balance? So this is after his most recent payment that he's made for his phone services. So if we notice, his balance after paying off his phone bill is already negative $62.47. So we start off with negative $62.47. And now he's buying a music player for $40. So we're going to add that negative 40 that's also going to come off to give us what amount? So if we take negative 62.47 and add negative 40 to it, what's that going to give us for a number? Negative 102.47, and that's dollars. So he's going to be $102.47 in debt by buying this music player. So that's quite a bit of debt. All right, next one. Number 3, if Andre deposits $100 in this account, will he still be in debt? How do you know? Well, his current balance is negative $102.47. If we add $100 to that, we're going to end up at what value? Sorry, they're working in the hall. Negative $2.47. So that means that he is still in debt. He needed to add some more money to that because the 100 is less than the negative 102.47 he owes. All right, so the keyword for this lesson is context. So using negatives and positive values within context and understanding what they mean. So knowing what this negative means on the $2.47, what the negative means on the $102.47, knowing that it's representing he's that much in the hole, he owes that much to the bank, or representing that he's withdrawing that much from his account that he doesn't actually have. Or in some cases, maybe he does have. So like if we looked at his check number 2850, we said if we put these all in one column, we could have put a subtraction. He had enough money to pay for that. So that could have just been a nice little subtraction and put that negative there, and it'd represent that withdrawal. So understanding what the negatives and positives represent in terms of our context are crucial. So context is your key word for this lesson. Make sure you get that submitted on Canvas. Have a great day.